What is up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of FitBizU. I'm your host, Jill Coleman. And if you are listening to this episode on the day that it drops, it is February 19th, and we are opening the doors to our back end launch of FBA this coming Monday, February 24th. And if you are not in the interest list, you will not get the details. The interest list link is in the show notes. This is going to be our last call for people who want the details for this round of FBA. We are doing a very small backdoor launch where we are capping it at max 40 new students. And I'm going to be walking you through personally the first 4 weeks. And then, of course, you'll have access to me after that as well. But I'm doing something I've never done before. We're doing a 4-week, what we call a VIP accelerator, where I'm going to personally hold your hand through the first 4 weeks of the program. And then, of course, you'll get into the natural cadence with everyone else in the group. So if you want some up close and personal time with me and want me to look at your business, this is the best way to do it. Go to the link in the show notes and add yourself to the interest list. There's no obligation to be on the interest list, but we are opening doors on Monday. Okay, today I want to talk about what you would tell your clients. And I think this is a really important episode. There's not going to be a lot of like 1, 2, 3 action items. This is not going to be a whole bunch of logistics. This is going to be a conversation that I think is extremely important because this is something that when we talk about mindset or we talk about compliance or we talk about success, so much of your success is really how you are perceiving your journey to build your business. What I mean by that is that's why whenever I say the word mindset, you guys know we do talk mindset on this podcast. I don't really talk about it that way, but the way I see mindset is it's really you choosing your perspective. And so much of your ability to have success online depends on your perspective of your journey. This is why we talk a lot on this podcast about expectation management. We talk a lot about how to stay in the game. A few episodes ago, I was talking about this idea of like, I kind of consider myself, yes, I'm a business coach, but I'm also a compliance coach. I'm like, how can I get my folks to continue showing up? Because if they show up, they're going to get a result. And I asked my FPA students recently what were some of their biggest frustrations, some of their biggest discouragements, or just complaints about the journey. And what was really interesting is it was kind of like two main camps. There was kind of two big things that came up. One was technology and time. So basically, like I have to learn new technologies and that takes time. And also, I need to learn social media and that takes time. So it's like things that maybe were a little bit of a wake up call when they started their business was like, oh, not only am I going to build a business, but I got to learn new skills. And this is anything we want to do, whether it's, you telling your clients to get on an app like Trainerize and they have to learn the interface, right? They got to learn how to track their macros. They got to learn how to, record their weights. They have to learn how to do proper form. Like there's always going to be skills in any new endeavor. And the same thing is for business. And so there's maybe frustration or just some expectation management that has to happen around the idea that like you're going to have to learn technology. You said you want an online business, and online business takes technology. It takes software. It takes all of these things that maybe you don't have to deal with when you're a personal trainer or when you're working a regular job. But if you want an online business and you are going to be a business owner, you do have to take responsibility for the fact that you are in a tech business. And so I think that's a frustration and the time around, especially things like social media, that it takes time to put together. And if you have not listened to the episode maybe a month ago that we did on layering on new habits to your old schedule, like how to build a new business with an old schedule, I think that would be a good one to listen to. And then the second sort of big thing that came up was this idea of it's not happening fast enough, or I thought it would happen more quickly, or I thought I would have more success for the time put in. And you guys know, I kind of always talk about this like pushing a boulder up a hill. You've heard me use that analogy many times before, that there is, especially at the beginning of your business building journey, there is this sort of very disproportionate difference between the time and the effort you're putting in and the outcome, the perceived outcome that you're getting. It was funny. I just had a client call earlier today with a legacy student, and she was like, I feel like my engagement is down on social media. But then she caught herself and she said, but I have to remind myself, like, I'm not a big person who interacts. I don't really like a lot of posts. I don't comment on posts. I don't really reach out to people on DMs. And I was like, well, there you go. Right. How many people are like her who were sitting there being like, where are my likes? Where are my comments? Where are my DMs? When so many of us don't interact in that way, maybe as much as we used to or ever. And so so much of what is quote unquote happening in your business is happening beneath the surface. You're not privy to it. Just because it's not showing up as a like on a post doesn't mean that people aren't connecting with you. It doesn't mean that they're not resonating with your post. It doesn't mean they're not actually liking your post and reading your post, consuming your post. It doesn't mean that they're not building trust with you. It's just so hard for us to see because it's not a shiny object, right? It's not a shiny number that we're seeing. And I wanted to speak to both of these things today, specifically the second one, which is this idea that it's this assumption that building a business will be easier or it should be happening faster. And I've talked about this before. If building a business was easy and there were no hiccups and it was as simple as doing A plus B equals C, then everyone would do it. Why wouldn't you? Look at the outcomes. You get to work from wherever, you get to have time freedom, financial freedom, you have autonomy, schedule, all that great stuff, work from home. Who wouldn't do it? But the reason why is because it is difficult. It doesn't mean it's miserable. It just means it's hard. You're learning a new skill set and you're learning how to be a CEO, especially if you've been someone who worked time for money for a long time in your life, like personal training, group fitness, things like that, service provider. You're used to getting paid for all of your time. When you get online, you're not getting paid for every single second that you're posting on social media. And so I think it's this mental shift of like, I think it would be easier. But the problem is, if it was easy, everyone would do it. If everyone was doing it, there'd be no opportunity. There would literally be no opportunity. And so when you guys say to me, like, the space is so saturated, imagine if it was easy, how much more saturated it would be. So I've mentioned this before, but it is that sort of athlete inside of me. And if you're listening to this, maybe you've been an athlete as well. I mean, you're in the fitness industry, you love pushing yourself. Like, this is an opportunity to challenge yourself. And one of I feel lucky because I've been in the body change space for such a long time. I was a personal trainer, started when I was 18, quit personal training when I was 33, and I went fully online. But even when I was online the first couple of years, I was working 100% in body change. So I worked with people on fat loss. I got them up on stage, got them, changing their body, building muscle. It was strictly fitness and nutrition. And because I have a lot of experience coaching fitness and nutrition, I also have a lot of experience coaching business. I see so many parallels in these journeys. And it would make sense then when I talk to my business students who love fitness, they love health, they love nutrition, they love mindset, they love habit change, they love lifestyle. They love all of these things when they work with clients. And literally the exact same things that they are saying to their clients to help their clients get the result, whether it's with body change or health or whatever, is the exact same feedback and coaching that they should be giving themselves when it comes to business. So, what I mean by that is, especially as a business coach for fitness professionals, one of the things that I find the most interesting or about this group of folks is that the frustration, the assumption that results should be happening faster, business building should be easier. And yet, these same fitness professionals, when they talk to their fat loss clients, they say things like results take time and quit all or nothing thinking, right? Don't be a perfectionist when it comes to this. Focus on the process instead of the outcome. Progress over perfection. They say you don't have to be perfect to get results. Every little bit counts. Just get started. It doesn't matter if it's going to take a while, right? Fail forward, failure's feedback, trust the process. Trust the process. And yet, so few of us building our business say this about our business. We're like, why hasn't it happened yet? Why aren't more people giving me more accolades? Why am I not making more money faster? Why am I not building a following faster? Why am I not seeing the results faster? And I truly believe it is the exact same thing. Building a business and building a body have so many parallels. And this is really important. And this, talk about mindset. This is where, if you do include, if you're someone who says, I like mindset and I help my clients with their mindset, this is your opportunity to walk your walk. The same advice you give to your clients, this person who you're working with, who maybe has to lose 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds, and they're at the bottom of the hill looking up this thing, and it's Mount Everest. And it is like, I want to lose 50 pounds. How the fuck am I going to do that? It is going to be a monumental effort. And so what happens is they go, I don't even want to start because, gosh, as soon as I'm on that path, it's going to be hard. And I'm going to change my habits. I'm going to have to do things differently. And it's still not going to take a month. It's still going to take a year. And when it comes to business building, it's the exact same thing. So when we have a client who's like, wow, what do we tell people? We say, don't do short-term fixes. Don't do little, 21 days, 7-day jump starts. Commit for the long haul. And yet for our clients, it is equally as tough for them to wrap their head around having to do something for a full year to get the result. And the exact same trap that your clients are falling into, where they go, God, it's going to take me a fucking year to do this. I don't even want to start. That seems massive, is the same thing you're doing when it comes to your business. I can't believe it's going to take a year. I can't believe it's going to take 18 months. I can't believe it's going to take 2 years. But you and I, when we look at our clients who want to lose body fat or want to change their body, we say, yeah, but a year in the grand scheme of things is nothing. Think about the outcome. And as your business coach, I'm here saying to you, a year, that's nothing, but look at the outcome. Same. So at the end of the day, I think it's normal to have these feelings of frustration and things that come up. And by the way, people are having success. People are having massive success in FBA. But again, I think it's this difference, and not just FBA, in any sort of business container, right? People are always going to have massive success if they stick with it. You guys have heard me use this saying before many times. If you stick to it, your success is guaranteed. The problem is so few people do stick to it. And I'm always endeavor to be as transparent as possible with you guys. And this is not to, this is not to scare you off. This is not to say don't do it. This is to say fucking do it, because the outcome is incredible. I have clients in my mastermind who started an FBA in 2020, 2021, 2022, and they're doing multiple six-figure, some of them doing six-figure launches, not to mention multiple six-figure years on track for 7 figures. Why couldn't that be you? These people aren't any smarter than you. They're not any better looking than you. They're not any fitter than you. They just decide to stick with it. And so at the end of the day, that's really what this is about. Because at the end of the day, what are you going to do? Not post? You can complain that social media sucks, and you can complain that you're not getting traction. You can complain that your views are down. You can complain about these things, and that's fine. But it's still the best tool that we have. And we see a lot of rhetoric about like, oh, launching doesn't work anymore. And it's still the best sales mechanism we have is launching. So what are you going to do? Not launch? So my whole thing, and this is my job as your coach, is to help you realize that, and I was trying to think about this from my perspective, like I always assume things are not going to go well. I don't know what that is. It's not even pessimist. It's not even like, oh, it's not even like, I'm not even, what's the word? Like, I'm not even a fatalist. I'm not like, oh, well, we'll just have to see, right? Like, I'm not hoping for the worst. I just literally assume that like no one is paying attention to fucking anything. And when I assume no one is paying attention to anything that I'm doing, it helps me get better at my craft. I'm gonna say it again. When I assume that I assume my likes are gonna be shitty, my views are gonna be shitty. I feel like no one's gonna read anything, no one's gonna pay attention. Like that's what I assume. And what that helps me do is it helps me actually get better at my craft, because I'm like, look, if no one's gonna pay attention, then I need to get better at messaging. I need to get better at marketing. I need to get better at sales. If my views are down, my content needs to be better, right? I need to niche down more. I need to speak directly to my client. It encourages me, honestly, like it feels almost like encouraging to go, Jill, work on your skills. Also, because I know so few people give up so fucking fast, I'm like, oh, if I just have a little bit more courage and I take a little more action than the average person, like I'm already in the top 1%, because so few people are willing to do it. That's where the massive opportunity is. So at the end of the day, I think it's fine to complain, to feel frustrated, all these things that all of us have. And I'm human just like you guys. I have moments like that too. I think the trick is to go, how fast can I turn this around? And how fast can I go, you know what? Like, we don't have a better tool than social media right now. So you have to post on social media, even if you feel like your views are not what they once were. Believe me, I used to, on average, and a much smaller account, by the way, on average, I would get probably like 700 to 800 likes on a post. Now, 150 to 200 max, like on average. Slowly over time, it has gone down, but I don't look at it like my work has gotten worse. I'm not like I'm worse because the likes have gone to a quarter of what they once were. I just go, that's a reflection of the space. But I also look at, I saw today, someone I follow has 1 million followers, 1 million fucking followers, and 300 likes on her post. 300 likes from yesterday. So it wasn't even like she just put the post up like an hour ago. It was from yesterday. And I was like, oh, and I know for a fact this person's making fucking bank. So I think it's really important for us to put our blinders on and do and say the exact same things that we would say to our clients. At the end of the day, if you want this result, and we'd say this exact same thing to our clients, if you want to get in the best shape of your life, you want to change your health markers, if you want to lose body fat, if you want to gain muscle, like, what are you going to do? Not go to the gym? What are you going to do? Not track? What are you going to do? Not prioritize protein? What are you going to do? Not go to sleep? Like, at the end of the day, if you want the outcome, you have to do the things that are required to get that outcome. This is the same thing we say to our clients. So when we say stuff like focus on the process over the outcome, this is your opportunity to take that advice, right? That's your medicine too. So the first question to ask yourself is like, do I really want to build this thing? Right? Do I really want to fucking be a business owner? And if at any time you're like, I don't want to, I don't want the outcome, I don't want to get to that level, I don't want to do that thing, then you can always tap out. That option is always there for you. Just like your own client. Your own client's looking at Mount Everest and they're going, I would like to lose body fat, but I feel like this is an impossible feat. I'm not even going to try. That's their prerogative. That is your prerogative. That's their prerogative. But the problem is, so many of us, we want to do it, but we only want to do it when it's easy. And my thing is, the thing that's going to separate you from everyone else is not doing when it's easy, it's doing when it's hard. And so then you just have to ask yourself, am I the person who does it when it's hard? I mean, I don't know, fucking put that on a post-it note if you want. Am I the person who does it when it's hard? Because that is 1% of people. And so I think this is more of a challenge to yourself to go like, yeah, what am I willing to do? And if you're just like, Jill, that's a lot and I don't want to do that. Totally fine. I will still love you. I will still support you. I will still be your cheerleader. But I think that if this is your dream, you don't give up after 4 months. That's my favorite Gary Vee quote. If this is something you want to do for the rest of your life, you don't give up after 4 months. In fact, that's what the opportunity is because everyone's giving up at 4 months. So I think it's an opportunity to dig deep and go, yeah, like look at the things I would say to my clients. Like, fuck, if you have a one-on-one client right now, go to their DMs, go to the messages you have with them, go to the check-ins that you have with them. What did you say to them? And then go, cool. Do I need to say that to myself? Is that what I need to hear right now? Because success is inevitable if you're willing to continue on to taking one step forward. And one of the things I'm so proud of all of our students for, and I'm so proud of our community, is we have a really strong community of support and cheerleading and connection in FBA. And this is one of my favorite things about it. People connect and support each other in that group in hard times and in good times. We celebrate the wins, we connect on the tough stuff, and then we all go to an action item. And that's one of my rules in FBA is like, hey, business building is hard. You're going to have moments where you're going to feel discouraged, you're going to feel disappointed, you're going to, to feel defeated, you're going to have things that go sideways. That's part of business. There's always going to be problems. We have those too at JillFit. But the question to ask yourself is, am I willing to figure it out? Am I willing to get resourceful and find a solution? And that's what everyone in FBA is committed to because we set the tone. Yes, you can say this sucks and in the same breath say, and here's what I'm going to do about it. And I feel like when you have that possibility mindset, you have that pivot mindset of like, okay, I ran up on some kind of obstacle. What's the workaround? We know people are buying online more than ever. So it just simply becomes a puzzle to be solved. The answer is out there. Let's use it together as the community. Let's use the brain share in the room of FBA to figure out what the solution is. And that's one of my favorite things is that people show up with solutions for each other because we're committed to success. Anyway, if that is a community that you would be interested in building your business alongside of, we have an amazing FBA fam. I would love for you to join us, put your name on the interest list in the show notes. We are all in this shit together. I love the connection. And I also love the possibility, the action taking, the support, the camaraderie, the encouragement that we have in the group as well. And if you feel a little bit lonely on this journey, or you just don't even know where to start, that's exactly why FBA exists. All right, y'all, that's all I got for you today. A little bit of a pep talk, a little bit of a tough love episode today. I really want you to take this to heart. Maybe bookmark this episode for future when you need it to come back to it. Give yourself a mental pep talk. Again, y'all, mindset yourself. We have a saying at JillFit, like mindset yourself. If you're someone who says, I love mindset, and mindset is something that I feel like is so important, then it is even more important that when things come up in your life, that you take the exact same things you say to your clients and you apply them to yourself. Because you are only as good as your ability to mindset yourself. And I truly mean that. And that at the end of the day, that's what I'm talking about. Like when the rubber meets the road, do you walk your walk? You say mindset's important, mindset yourself. And we say at JillFit all the time is like, all right, you say this is an important part of growth. You say this is an important part of transformation, but it can't just only apply to your clients who want to lose body fat. It has to also apply to you doing something hard as well. All right, y'all. That's all I got. Thank you for being here. And I will see you on the next episode. Have a good week.